Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of Subject to Change is here. And today, joining us is Ben Askren. Ben, what's going on?
I'm having a good day. Actually, doing a lot of interviews today. And after this, I'm going to do a little workout and then hang out with the family.
Awesome. Well, for those of you that are listening and, don't have a phone or any technology, Ben Askren is about to fight Jake Paul. This fight was kind of signed, a couple weeks ago now, right?
Not even a couple weeks ago. I think I finalized the deal. It was either Sunday or Monday of last week. So we're talking like 10 days, 9 days. Yeah. I mean, now it feels like a while, but it hasn't been very long, actually.
Well, that's awesome. What's life been like since, take us through, let's say 3 weeks ago before Jake Paul was even a thought. I mean, I can't imagine you sit around watching, his vlogs or anything on YouTube, I can't imagine this was something that you were thinking about. What has the last few weeks been like for you?
Yeah. Well, I coach high school and middle school kids. So they've been giving me the Jake Paul updates because I had no idea. I heard the name, no idea, what he did or why he's popular or anything. So it's been more than a couple weeks. So I think it was like end of November, he had hit that fight and he called me out and whatever. And there was kind of like a little bit of back and forth, but not too much going on. And so for me, I'm retired from fighting and it's hard to want to get serious without anything real on the table. And so really, kind of, like I said, like 10 days ago, maybe I signed the deal and it kind of, once it started moving, it moved really fast. And then it was like, okay, I have to, I guess I got to get back in training. And so I've been training pretty hard the last 10 days. And then, I had my real life going on. I had wrestling academy. My brother and I own 5 wrestling academies and we're doing that. So now it's like, okay, I need to find a boxing coach. I need to set up a boxing schedule. I need to figure out what the press conference is. And I got to do all these things. So it's been really hectic.
Well,
why did Jake call you out in the first place? Like, how did this even start?
Well, I think so I am not known for my striking. I was a wrestler. I went to the Olympics, won NCAA titles. I used almost primarily wrestling in my MMA career when I went 19-2. And so I think he thinks like I'm someone maybe he has a chance at beating who's actually a real fighter. I think that's probably why my name came up is what I'm guessing. I also have a pretty good following. Relatively popular, kind of probably checks those boxes. So that's probably why I would guess.
I got you. So where are you right now? Because we talked about little connection that me and you have with Wisconsin. Are you in Wisconsin right now?
I am. So I left for 10 years. I grew up here, graduated high school in 2002. I was gone for almost a decade. Spent 7 years in Missouri, spent 2 years in Arizona. My fight career was getting going. I was a Bellator champion. I ended up moving back because there's a gym called Rufus Sport that's really good based out of Milwaukee. So I moved back and then, my brother and I started at Askrens Wrestling Academy. So now we have those in. We opened 2 before the pandemic, which kind of totally sucked. We lost a boatload of money being closed because you can't open it. So we have Franklin, Madison, Heartland, Mequon, and Green Bay. So we have 5 academies all around the state. So yeah. So I moved back in 2011. I fought for another 6 years. I retired for the first time. I got the opportunity to go to the UFC. I unretired for about a year. I retired again. And then I've been retired since November of 2019.
So since then, since 2019, are you training? Like what's been are you getting ready? Like you just been out of it?
Well, so the main reason I retired was because I got this, so I had hip surgery right there.
Damn.
Yeah. So that was the main reason. Well, the main reason I retired was my hip was so bad. So it was like, if I would have known the corona was going to happen, I would have had surgery in March. But, my plan was I was working at the Wrestling Academy. We have a really slow time in the fall. So I'm like, okay, I'll have surgery in September once everything's done. And then I'll have my surgery. I'll heal up, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd say I had surgery on September 1st. It's a 3-month period where you can't really do much at all. And then like December 1st, I was like, okay, well, I've been kind of lazy for the last year because of the hip thing. I'm going to start training again. So, light training. But for me, it was mostly just working. I work the wrestling academies and then I do podcasts. I have a wrestling podcast, MMA podcast, and a crypto podcast. So kind of talk about a little bit of everything.
Hold on. Crypto podcast. Walk me through what's a crypto podcast?
Well, I got fascinated by Bitcoin in 2017. And then, met a whole bunch of people following it. And obviously 2017 was the run up, and then we had the bear market. So it was kind of a brutal couple of years, but I met a guy named John Kim. He really knows his stuff about crypto. And I'm like, hey man, why don't we do a podcast? And for me, it was like, I know I'm like kind of know my stuff, but I want to interview smart people. So it was like every week we just try to interview someone smart. I try to ask them questions. A lot of these guys say, hey, I know you're way over my head in this stuff. Just like take it down a couple notches and tell me what's up. So for me, it's just a lot of fun because I get to ask a lot of really smart people questions.
Well, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
We need to make the disclaimer that we are not experts either. We're not giving anyone advice on Bitcoin or any crypto stuff at all.
You just need to be like Dave Portnoy and just start going off and giving everyone financial advice.
No, I can't do that. I got in trouble for that.
You did? What'd you do?
Why are you doing this fight? Because you retired from fighting. You're not a boxer. You got all this other stuff going on. Why are you fighting Jake Paul?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I retired, I said if the right opportunity came up, I'm not opposed to doing something again. And it's like, listen, I've been a competitor my whole life. I mean, when I was young, I did all sports. Obviously, I started focusing on wrestling almost exclusively. And then obviously after that, I did MMA for almost a decade. And so for me, it's like, I know at some point I had to step away from competition and do other things, but the real world is relatively boring compared to competition. Like it's hard to get like that feeling that you get when you're walking to the cage or when you're walking out to the mat in the NCAA finals. It's hard to get that feeling. So part of me was always going to miss it. And I knew that. And so when Jake Paul called me out, it's like, okay, this guy, he's not good at boxing. And listen, I'm not claiming to be a boxing expert either, but I am a high level competitor. I competed at the highest levels of two sports for 15 years or so. And if I put my mind to boxing, I could beat up Jake Paul in 3 months, no problem. So that was kind of where my mind went. A lot of people try to say like, well, why would you do it? You could get embarrassed or whatever. It's like, I don't know. I thought back to high school and I don't know what Jordan was doing up in Kaukauna, but I lived in a relatively small town, and sometimes there was nothing going on Friday nights. And me and my buddies were like, hey, let's go to my house, throw in the boxing gloves and punch each other in the face a little bit. So, we did that for free 20 years ago, and now they're going to pay me a boatload of money. Like, I feel like an idiot if I say no.
Jordan, did you do that growing up?
No. Okay, listen, let me quickly. Hey, I heard you. I was just watching some stuff with you, some of your recent interviews, and you had brought that up. And I'm like, God, that's actually must be something about like the water in the Midwest that makes like kids just kind of a little bit crazy. Because I did the same thing. Me and my buddies, I swear to God, me and my buddies who one of them, Trent Leon, who he's going to watch this.
Trent Leon, he's a wrestler.
Shut the hell up. Okay, now he's definitely.
No, of course I know who he is.
Okay, so it was in Trent Leon's basement, and that's my longtime buddy. And he was.
But he's small. You better beat him up because you're big and he's small.
Well, I'm not that big. I might be a basketball player, but I'm 5'10", 5'11". Okay. We're like same size. But Trent, he's a little smaller. But he had the gloves down there and the headgear, and we would just go at it. Put the couches in a square, and just there's a video. I'm gonna have my friend send it over because I slip one and just throw a nice hook. Oh, I got hey. Down the line, Ben, I might have to hit you up and meet you at one of your academies and we can train because that's definitely a Midwest thing for sure. Sure. That's hilarious. So awesome. now that this is all kind of getting moving and stuff like that, before we really dive into this whole Jake Paul stuff, I wanted to ask you, so I heard you on Rogan talk about, and this is important for me because you're into this podcast and stuff. You talked about your following and just your personality obviously is something that, attracts people. So you being in the NCAA, you talked about how they just take control of their athletes. It's a lot of exploitation, this and that.
Oh, don't get me fired up.
Hey, I want to get you fired up. What do you think? Because everybody's like, should you pay athletes? And I think that's a tough question, but you talked about name, image, and likeness. And now these bills are kind of coming up. Where are you at right now with that? Where do you want to see the NCAA move with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen for sure. It's coming down the pipe. So listen, I think if you want to argue about the institutions paying the athlete, I think you can make a good argument on both sides. The one thing that you absolutely, I was actually going to ask you how you're doing this podcast because I think the NCAA would have an issue with it. Maybe you're doing it for free. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the one thing.
No, we are. We're doing it.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah, fuck the NCAA. I don't care.
100%
You should be able to do a podcast. I don't give a damn. And
We're
so
all doing
listen,
it for free.
the one thing that we should all agree on is if an athlete wants to take some initiative and they want to be able to make money off their name, image, or likeness, it is theirs. It is their name, image, and likeness. The fact that an institution can exploit an athlete and make money off their name, image, and likeness, but the athlete themselves cannot do so is totally insane. So whether we want the institutions to pay athletes or not, I could see both sides. Right. But when we're talking about keeping an athlete from making money, it is so insane.
Yeah, because I mean, when you really break it down, like you're saying, there's two sides of it where everybody's talking about paying athletes. Some people just assume that, well, West Virginia shouldn't pay Jordan McCabe to play because that's fair because now you're right. Are you going to pay me the same amount as, whatever, a woman rower here at West Virginia? Are you going to pay? Because that's the only way to do it is if everybody's somewhat on an equal scale, and that gets messy. But I completely agree with you. You couldn't tell somebody in the, nursing school that, they can't go in their garage and be an entrepreneur, have a podcast, create and design something. I mean, it suffocates all the creativity and ingenuity of a whole, huge, following of people. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, and even the notion that, for example, basketball skills have nothing to do with podcast skills whatsoever. Right. And so, someone who is an NCAA athlete can't go do something that's even completely unrelated to their athletic endeavor and put their name on it and make money. That's so crazy to me. I hate it. I think that's ending relatively quickly here. I want to say it's, I thought it was either 2021 or 2022. So I really hope that comes up because that's the one that's just we really should not argue about this. This is stupid.
It's dumb. Yeah, I agree. Well, so obviously for people that don't know, your background and stuff, bring me through just briefly your college and your Olympic kind of career and then how that goes into, Bellator and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I wrestled my whole life. I played a lot of other sports when I was young, and then I gravitated towards wrestling for two things. Number one, I like the combativeness of it. I'm rough. Number two, I like the individuality. I like that, I was determining my own destiny. I struggled with team sports. So I had success. I went to the University of Missouri. I won a couple of national titles. I went to the Olympics in 2008. And that was when MMA was really starting to gain some mainstream following. I don't know if you guys are probably too young. You don't remember that the Tough Show was on Spike. And that was a huge deal. And that was what exploded mixed martial arts popularity. Because it was MMA started in the 90s. And then there was this really dark period where states were banning it. And it wasn't. And this is kind of when I was in high school, Yeah. And so when I get into college, it's starting to ramp up again and become a real thing.
Yep.
So when I finished the Olympics, it was okay, what do I do now? Do I, keep wrestling, which I love? Do I go coach? Do I fight? And it was well, if there's ever a time to try fighting, it's now. And I didn't know that I was going to love it or be great at it or anything. It was just hey, let's go. I kind of want to do that. It looks like fun. And let's do it. And so I tried it. And I actually won the Bellator belt within 18 months. And then it's okay, well, I guess I'm all right at this. I should keep doing it. And then so I mentioned I went full-time fighting. I quit coaching at Arizona State University, moved back to Milwaukee, became a full-time fighter. So I ended my Bellator run undefeated. I was 12-0 at that point in my career.
That's after ONE FC, right?
No, Bellator? It was before.
Okay, gotcha.
So I finished with my Bellator contract in July of 2013. And that point, it was for me, I just wanted to compete and I wanted to go to the UFC. And for whatever reason, Dana at that point hated me. So
did you say anything that could make Dana maybe not like you, Ben, at some point?
The one and only thing, which listen, I was right on. So and you know what? Dana wants me to beat up Jake Paul. So we're kind of on the same page now. So I'm going to ask him at some point, because I have not got to ask him, why didn't we make a deal in 2013?
Right.
Because we didn't make a deal. So I ended up going to one championship, which is in Asia, because I had met the CEO and I really liked him. And so I fought there for 4 years, 2014 to 2017. And then, like I said, I retired. And then in 2018, I had remained friends with the CEO at one championship, and he was kind of looking out for my best interest. And Demetrius Johnson didn't want to be with the UFC. And so they did a trade, which a trade has never, ever happened in mixed martial arts before then or since. They should really do it because it's kind of cool. But so I am the one and only ever trade in mixed martial arts, me for Demetrius Johnson. And so I retired and I went to the UFC. I had 3 fights in 2019. I won my first one. I lost my second one, which was unfortunately a very notable knockout. And then I lost my third one. And then I retired due to my hip, and been doing that, doing the coaching and podcasting ever since.
The notable knockout, right? That's like what everyone obviously points to.
Unfortunately.
Like, what happened there? Like, I'm just getting to the, like, I didn't watch that fight in real time. Like,
okay,
for the fan like me who's just starting to hear about you, like, what happened there? And like, it's obviously notable. Everyone's talking about. So,
I mean, from a technical standpoint, I hadn't lost a round to that point in my career. So I was 19-0
and barely gotten hit, right?
Yeah, I really hadn't been hurt ever.
Right.
And so, I think it was one of those things where I just, I don't want to say I thought I was invincible, but I really didn't think people could hurt me because it had been a decade and it hadn't happened. And then just the way he threw that knee was kind of different than anyone's ever thrown a flying knee in the history of mixed martial arts. And now, since they saw him do it as effective, a few more people have done it. It's been effective. But usually when you're doing a jumping knee, it's more like punch, 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 jump, and usually as the person's coming in, you jump through the knee. The way he did it was like a couple running steps and then jump. And so I think it was just the timing and the way he was elevating his body just threw me off, and I didn't get out of the way.
If you didn't get knocked out there, if you get to just fight and eventually get him on the ground, is that like, are you beating him?
I mean, I hate saying things like this because it didn't work out, but it's like I beat George 9 out of 10 times, and that I was in a great spot. I didn't capitalize on it. He did, and obviously from that he really catapulted himself. He beat up Nate Diaz, and then he got a title shot, which he lost the title shot. So, man, that's MMA. MMA is hard because, say a basketball game, it's never like, hey, you make one shot and the game's over, right? But that's what MMA is. It's one chokehold, one punch, one knee, one kick, and sometimes that's all you get.
Is he working with Jake now? Did I see that, or am I wrong?
Yeah, they made a video together. They're dorks.
Hey, how stupid is some of this stuff? Be honest. I mean, because just talking to you, you're obviously a competitor when it all boils down. You take away, and I'm the same way. You can take away the podcast. I do it because I enjoy it and I have fun. And who knows? Maybe someday it's somewhat lucrative. But other than that, we're competitors. I mean, I saw a video on Instagram. You're still coaching and doing wrestling for young kids, and that's really what you truly love to do. How has it been being now thrown into this crazy amount of limelight because of how big of a name Jake Paul is in the YouTube and all this stuff?
Yeah.
How much of this is just you just shake your head, like him working with Masvidal and stuff like this? How much of the entertainment stuff do you just kind of I don't love that?
Man, I mean, there's not much I don't really dislike too much of it. I mean, the one thing about MMA is very interesting in comparison to, say, like a basketball. Obviously wrestling, they don't make much money, so wrestling doesn't really feed this, but basketball, football, baseball, you don't really get paid more based on your personality. You get paid more based on your stats because you're going to help the team win if the team wins. Right. In MMA, it's way different. MMA, there's definitely some correlation between the level of popularity and how fast you get pushed to title shots, how much money you make. And so I think from an early age in mixed martial arts, I learned that like, hey, this like you got to do the promotion, right? You have to do a little bit of it. And yeah, I mean, some of it I don't like, but a lot of it I enjoy, you know, the trash talk. I think it's kind of fun. I'm the kind of guy who trash talks my friends, you know, just for no good reason. Like my buddy calls me up, hey, dipshit, what's up? You know, or yeah.
Whose idea was the Jake Paul punching bag that I saw, yesterday you posted that?
That was so great. It was my buddy Dan. He runs this store called Combat Corner. So listen, Tom, if you don't like Jordan, you can buy a punching bag with his face on it from Combat Corner. They're not, I thought they were gonna be way more expensive, but they're like, I want to say said like $350 or something like, I thought it would be more. Yeah. So I just hit Dan up. They're kind of based out of Milwaukee-ish. And I said, hey man, I've been doing boxing. I need boxing gloves. I throw my shit away from mixed martial arts, right? I don't have it anymore. I need all this stuff. He said, okay, no problem. And then he said, hey, I'll have it by Saturday or whatever, you know? And then he said, the next day he texted me and said, hey, what about this? And he sent me a picture of it. And I said, yes, absolutely. That's freaking outstanding. So it was Dan's idea and he made it. And man, I was dying laughing because it's just so perfect.
Yeah, I love it. So this is going to be an 8-round fight. All right. And I think Jake's gone, 6, which ended up being shorter than that with Nate Robinson. Tough L for the basketball world in that one, but we're banking on you coming into this 8-round fight. Give me I know you've been asked this probably a million times. I need a prediction from Ben Askren. I know you're obviously don't even claim to be a prolific striker, but how is this going down? Are we seeing a TKO? I mean, eventually stamina's got to catch up to him.
Yeah. So I said TKO round 7. One of the things I was not blessed with any type of explosive muscle fibers. I'm all slow twitch. This is embarrassing, Jordan. I'm going to admit this to you. My fastest 40-yard dash ever as a college athlete was the slowest on the Missouri wrestling team. It was a 5.3. It's really bad.
Still faster than Tom's, guaranteed.
No, it is not.
Tom who? Tom.
It is not faster than me. I'm faster than Jordan.
So I'm really slow. I don't have a lot of explosiveness, but I don't think Jake's going to be able to handle the pressure. I'm really good defensively, so I'm just going to keep ramping it up. And I think eventually he's just going to wilt, and he's not going to be there anymore. So I said TKO round 7.
TKO round 7. How serious has training been right now? Compared to, I mean, you take it back to any point in your fighting career. Yeah. Like how serious is this? I mean, this is a YouTuber. Is this you're going in there like every single day and really hitting it, or is this like, let's do this and put some showmanship into it?
No, I'm gonna train. But again, right? I only signed maybe 10 days ago, so first of all, I was like, okay, well, I haven't really been training hard, so it's like, hey, let me actually get in shape first. So I think I met with my strength conditioning coach like 8 out of 10 days, right? From right afterwards. And then it's like, let me put my camp together of who's going to coach me and who I'm going to work out with and who I'm going to spar with. Let me figure that piece out. So I've been ramping it up, but yeah, I'm absolutely going to take it seriously and train. I mean, listen, I don't know. I'm not telling you I'm going to be a boxer. Not telling you. This is not what I'm telling you right now. If I beat Jake Paul's ass, I'll be able to call someone else out that I want to, whether it's his brother Logan or whatever, right? And so that at that point, maybe I say, you know what, this was fun, but I don't want to do this again. And I just go back to my regular life. Or maybe I say, you know what, I had a lot of fun doing this. Maybe I'll do it another time. And, so I am going to take this training seriously.
You could just put together a huge list of YouTubers and just beat the shit out of all of them. How awesome would that be?
YouTube kill list. There's plenty of celebrities that I'd love to beat up, but I don't think there's any way all of them are going to accept boxing matches.
I hear. Who would be the first one if you had to pick like a random celebrity that you wanted to fight?
Oh,
I'm curious. If you could just throw out anybody, they had to say yes, and now they have to.
A lot of them have been coming on here, and they're down to fight. There's a lot of basketball players.
Really?
We've had a couple. But who's on your hit list?
Man, who is that? Now you guys got me. Jake Paul is very hateable, so I am very happy I get to fight him. I would want to fight someone who's like a tough guy for their sport. Probably like. He's not a tough guy, but he just beat the Packers. So how about Tom Brady? Do you think he'd want to fight?
No. You want to fight Tom Brady? That's the first thing that came to your mind is you want to fight Tom Brady.
Well, he just beat the Packers. I'm not a gigantic. I grew up a Packers fan. You grew up like 15 minutes from Lambeau Field, so I'm sure you're hardcore. But we had some people over for the Packers and Buccaneers game, and they were all depressed. So listen, if I beat up Jake Paul, I'm a hero for America because everyone hates this guy. If I beat up Tom Brady, I'm Wisconsin's hero.
Which means a lot for sure.
Yes.
You're good in that state forever if you beat up Tom Brady. Forever. Yeah. Oh,
they might if I beat Tom Brady's ass, they might make me a statue or something.
Right in Lambeau. I love it. I love it. I love it.
What about LeBron? Did you beat LeBron in a fight, you think?
He's really, isn't he gigantic? Isn't he like 6'10" or something?
He's 6'8", 6'9".
Like,
I mean, I'm sure I could beat him up because he's no offense, Jordan. He's a basketball player. I don't think he's ever fought.
Ben.
You saw Nate Robinson. You saw how he represented you guys.
Happened?
Ben, hold on now. Ben, listen to me right now. Listen. LeBron James is a absolute monster. I mean, he could play a tight end in the NFL. He could definitely, bro, if you put him.
But do you think he can box for real?
Oh, I mean, I got to think that
LeBron James would whoop your ass, man.
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding me? We're not having this conversation.
He's never taken a punch in his life. I see this guy fall over when someone bumps into him a little bit on the court.
This is the problem. Then this is the problem between wrestlers and basketball players. You guys don't give us enough credit because of that being the
Jordan,
sport.
What do you have to say for Nate Robinson then?
We got nothing to say for Nate Robinson.
What do you got to say? I mean, he was like an NBA player. He wasn't like a
but
bum.
listen. Okay, no, Nate Robinson in great physical shape. Never really fought. That definitely, I mean, that was evident. Okay, he's in great physical shape, but we're talking Nate Robinson at like 5'8", all right, with like a 5'11" wingspan. Now we're talking LeBron James, who's 6'8", 260, with like a 7-foot wingspan. And you want to talk about, Ben, me and you, not blessed with those fast twitch muscle fibers. LeBron's got enough to give everybody in the world fast twitch muscle fibers. I mean, he's gonna, if he connects, I mean, you can't be serious. LeBron steps in that ring with you, you're gonna beat LeBron James?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna beat up LeBron James in a boxing match.
You're my Wisconsin boy, so I'm with you.
I can't wait.
After Tom Brady, I'm beating up all the GOATs.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
All right, I hope we're not categorizing Jake Paul as a GOAT, though.
No.
He's like a YouTube child star GOAT or something.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The stuff with your wife, is that just too far? What I know you guys have like taken it and ran with it and helped her following, but like, what is too far?
I mean, so if we go way back, when I was 15 years old, and I'm way older than you guys, so I don't even know if you guys will know what the hell I'm talking about. There was something called a message board, okay? And it was like just like being a thing. And I went on there as a sophomore in high school, and all these dudes were talking shit. And I, went in there, boo, 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 boo. I'm going to kick this guy's butt at state next week, whatever. And the backlash I got from it was totally insane. And I realized most of these people on here are adults. It wasn't like me battling with other kids. It was like
their parents.
Yeah, it was like their parents coming at me. So I realized from a very early age that people, especially with like anonymity and internet, they will do and say crazy shit. And you just can't let it get to you. Just let it roll off your back because it's no big deal. So, I mean, like, to me, when he tried following my wife, it was like, that's hilarious. And then, I mean, it might have been a little bit intimidating if he could have, like, spit some actual game, but it was effing embarrassing. Like, if I ever talked to a girl like that, I would have been so embarrassed.
Wait, did he actually slide into, did he send
Yeah, he started DM her. So he put, I mean, my wife posted the DMs. It was embarrassing. I mean, like, come on, kid.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's that is extremely embarrassing. Hey, let's start. I wanted to talk about you're going into this fight. I had listened to a couple of things in sports psychology. Did you graduate with okay, that was your degree?
No, I did. So I got a degree in geography. I got 9 credits of my grad degree done for sports psych. And I just couldn't force myself to go back to school. I took a semester off because I was traveling. I was going to Russia and the Olympic trials and the Olympics. I took a semester off. And then it was like, dude, I'm not going back to school. I'll read a whole bunch of sports psych books, but I'm not going back to school.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like a lot of stuff doesn't bother you. You know what I mean? And I think like certain things, and maybe this is just my youthfulness at this time, that like, if you said something to, you know, girlfriend, wife in my camp, like I would take that in a whole different way, but like nothing seems to really bother you. So like, how does sports psych, at least right now, like help you? I know in this time going into this fight, but not only that, even in your professional career.
Oh yeah. I mean, so I think at a high level, when we're talking high school athletics, maybe not the case, but you know, professional athletics, almost 100% for me, how someone's going to do in their longevity is based on their sports psych, right? How open are they to suggestions from their coaches? How hard are they going to train? How much are they going to stay focused? Especially, you know, especially on like basketball, baseball, football. Like when you get that much money, there's a lot of distractions. So how much can you actually stay focused on the task at hand? Right. And so at a high level, I think sports psychology is pretty much a direct indicator of how well they're going to do over the course of time. And yeah, I mean, obviously trash talk is a huge one. I guess I'm not an expert in other sports. So I know MMA trash talk and not getting your feathers ruffled is gigantic because there's a whole bunch of it. I don't know if those same things happening in I mean, are people on the basketball court like bumping you and talking some shit? Or I don't really know.
Right. Not as much. Yeah. No, not at all. But just sports psychology in general is something that like every freshman kind of has to take at least some intro class with that. I took one. And when I heard you were doing that, I was just thought like, I'm assuming with your academy and different stuff, like you see that and probably help a lot of young kids. I just thought it was cool and wanted to ask kind of, you know, where you're at with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm actually, I'm finally getting a sports psych book written. I've been trying to pitch someone my idea and I finally had someone take me up on it. Let's see. So to summarize in a minute, the idea is that I don't really like a lot of the sports psychology books on the market because I think they push this, you need this, you need this, you need this. And then, you know, they give you like, you need to be this and this and this. And a lot of times they don't talk about the interplay between different characteristics. And I think a lot of kids, and I see it because you said I coach, they really struggle with it. And so, you know, the biggest one, and was like, we have the state tournament coming up in a couple weeks, would be, you know, the type of kid who like, he does everything right and they're super type A. But those kids generally have a lot of anxiety around competition, right? So there's a positive to that behavior, which is their own time to training, they work hard, et cetera, et cetera. But then on the other side, you have that guy, and I'm sure you've had this teammate, Jordan, who like doesn't do anything right, but they show up and they ball out, right? Yeah, like they're gamers. Okay. Well, the reason they're gamers is they don't have a lot of anxiety, but if they could do what this person does, they would be better. Just like if this person could do what that person does, they would be better. Right. And so if we could take the best of both worlds and we could put them together, we're going to benefit ourselves a lot. And so the book's going to talk about like, when we choose to be certain characteristics, not just like, you just need to be this, right? Because I don't like that. And I think people have to understand how they work together.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I figured that. And you talk about sports psych and how it affects, you know, different people, and trash talk and MMA, how it's different. But one guy who's obviously maybe not, no pun intended, his Instagram name, the most notorious trash talker right now in our generation is McGregor. He's kind of shifted gears. He's more the family man now. Everybody's seeing that side of Conor. I've been wondering what you think about this, considering how different your two styles of fighting are. How long does Jake Paul last in a ring with Conor McGregor, which was the kind of original play for Jake Paul? I want to fight Conor McGregor. How long does that fight last?
He lasts about as long as Conor wants it to last, is what I would assume. I mean, Conor McGregor is a very high level striker. And he does have some power. If you want to talk about sports psychology, trash talking Conor was way better than not trash talking Conor. So if you think of how effective he was as a trash talker, he got Poirier to get all pissed and make a stupid mistake. He got Aldo to get all pissed and make a stupid mistake. So the Conor that got under people's skin was actually, he was doing really great sports psych, right? He was making people fight fights that they didn't want to fight. and it made him way more effective. So Conor, the family man, well, good job, Conor, your family man. He should twist a switch when he goes to compete because he was way more effective earlier in his career.
That makes
sense. Why isn't he fighting Jake Paul? Like, why? I know that was probably the first option. Like, why did that not happen, you think?
I don't know the answer to that.
Probably, it would have been. How much money do you think he would have gotten for that fight?
Probably quite a bit, I would guess. I would think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that I'm underestimating. I don't think many people would think it's competitive. Maybe I'm overestimating the intelligence of the general public. But
you did,
probably. Yeah. So I don't know a lot. Who would have made a lot? I'm not sure why it's not happening.
So we are here about the trash talk, and our audience loves the trash talk. So describe Jake Paul in 5 words.
So here's the problem. Hey, and I got to go in like 3 minutes, but here's the problem. And I'm starting to gather data, but like when I fought someone mixed martial arts, generally I knew a lot about them because I saw their other fights. The MMA community is kind of small. I knew one of their coaches. I knew a teammate, something, right? There was a connection of some sort. Before I signed a contract to fight Jake Paul, I had never watched one Jake Paul video. I didn't know shit about this guy. And so to really be effective at trash talk, you need to like understand who you're talking about. So I got my high school kids doing the dirty work for me. I'm like, tell me what you know about Jake Paul, because I don't know anything, but I need some material. So, I got the fact that he was a Disney star now. I think there's some stuff to go off there. That's kind of embarrassing. But I'm still.
I got you.
You got me. What else do I need to go for?
Brother kissed his girlfriend. There's like some cheating.
His brother kissed his girlfriend?
Yeah, there's a whole video about his brother.
I heard they
slept with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I heard they slept together.
Yeah, I heard they actually. I heard Logan slept with her.
The FBI raid, the Disney stuff. He's just known as the little brother. Like that's the thing that gets under his skin. He's known as the little brother, and he wants to be like.
Oh yeah, that is. So he wants to be the man, but he's not the man. Is that
he's not fighting against Floyd Mayweather in this big boxing thing ASAP. He's not the king of Pokemon cards and all these different things. He keeps.
So how much older is Logan? I don't even. I
think just 2 years maybe.
2 years, okay. Yeah, because I got a younger brother, and I know the dynamics that there's tension there, obviously.
Yeah.
I never hooked up with my brother's girlfriend though. That did not. I'm better than that. Logan, that's sad, bro.
Yeah, there's some things going on in the Paul household that need to be straightened out, and I'm sure you're going to straighten them out in the ring.
Absolutely.
Hey, we know you got to take off. Tom, Spence, any last questions? Any last things you want to knock out?
I got one more. All right.
Yes.
You've gone with like 4 of them already. I want one more. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. I feel like I'm going to too many bathroom or STD references. This is where worlds collide. And I'm like, oh, damn. I was in practice last week, and one of my middle school kids goes, hey, Ben, what's an SDT? And I'm like, oh, shit. Go ask your dad. But I think floating a butterfly, sting like a bee, Jake Paul sits down when he takes a pee.
Love it.
Oh, man. Thank you very much, Ben. We appreciate you taking time to jump on with us, and good luck. You got definite fans over here and everybody following us. So good luck. Right. Go knock them out, please.
Appreciate it, guys. Peace.
Thanks, man.
See you later.
All right, let's talk for 2 more minutes.
Yep.
So Tom is too much of a wimp to say it on camera, but this is going on the podcast. Tom thinks he's going to whoop his ass. Jake's going to whoop Ben's ass.
Tom thinks Jake is going to win?
Yeah.
Tom, are you? I truly don't get
Jordan,
this. Okay?
He did not say he was training. Like, I know he like kind of said but he's not training.
It's a facade. That's his personality. Like, everybody just assumed Ben Askren is just some like guy who just doesn't really give a shit, and he's just a wrestler and this and that. Like the bag that he was hitting, like that looked like you, Tom. Like if I told you to just hit this bag, like he was throwing these little like mini jabs, and people are like, oh, he's not going to win with that. Ben Askren is going to, and he's being so modest with this whole like 7th round TKO. I'm almost positive it's under 3 rounds and it's a knockout. Like Jake Paul out cold on the canvas. I truly believe that. And if you
I think you're wrong there. I do think it's going to be a lot closer. And I think he said 7 rounds because there is a way Jake Paul wins this fight.
Jake Paul is not lasting that long. Like, I can't see Jake Paul going 8 rounds. I'm sure he works out, but like,
yeah, Jake's going to go for the kill.
Yeah, wrestling conditions bad. But the only thing I'll give Askren, and he's awesome. Like, I like want to be friends with him now. They say he has even Logan Paul was saying this on his podcast. He has an iron chin, apparently. Like, apparently he got knocked out that one crazy knockout, but apparently like his thing is like he enjoys getting hit and it doesn't hurt him. And that's kind of scary.
Well, yeah, that's what people need to realize is that wrestlers are like biologically psychotic. They're weird. They're just, I mean, you get hit that much. And on top of that, have you ever like tried to wrestle like for real, like with a wrestler? Like, I don't know, maybe people have never done this, but like
yes.
Yeah. My friends, we grew up like as a school, Kakana was basketball and wrestling pretty much. Like those were the 2 things we could do pretty well. And like every now and then I would go with like Trent and I would either lift weights with them and then he might need somebody to just grapple with and mess around on the mat. Talk about just like physical endurance. Like those dudes are in some of the best shape like you can possibly imagine. Like just go wrestle. Like you and Spence should get together and just wrestle in a living room for like, I don't know, like nothing weird, 10 minutes and just see how tired you are. You know what I'm saying? Like it is extremely difficult to get in that shape. And on top of that, he's an Olympian. We're talking about an Olympian who's a fighter, a real professional fighter. Say what you want about his striking and technique. He is going to destroy Jake Paul.
But also 12 years, man. 12 years of endurance.
He's old.
It's a long time. I'm not going to lie.
All right, dude. You want to?
I'm okay. I can be swayed.
There's sketchy things. Like he didn't really fight in the U.S. for most of his career. Like, why is he so – there's a lot of things. He's mostly known for getting his shit rocked.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a big payday for him. And like he said it best, it's an opportunity you just can't pass up on because when he does win, if he does win, like, yeah, then he can go get more money and fight Logan Paul or get more money and, you know.
I don't really get why Jake's doing it, honestly. Like, I like Ben a lot, but like he's not.
Well, Jake's doing it because it's Jake's only path to legitimacy. So,
yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing for both sides. They're not fighting each other because they hate one another. They're fighting each other because if Jake wins, it catapults into now maybe Nate Diaz, who I would love to see fight Jake Paul.
He would kill him. He would kill him.
He would actually legitimately hurt Jake Paul. Like
he would kill him.
Like he might actually kill him. You know what I'm saying? So they're both using each other as a leapfrog for next fight.
But Jordan, you said it right. Like they're using each other as a leap to other worlds. Like Jake's using it as a leap to actual fighting. Yep. Ben's using it as a leap to fight more celebrities.
It's it's like a parent swap, dude. They just both want to be like in each other's world. Jake wants to be a fighter so bad, and Ben's like, I've fought, I'm really good at fighting, but now I'm kind of on the back end. Let me just get into this whole, entertainment business and make a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
it is fun. Right.
This has got to be, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but this is probably his biggest payday ever, right?
Oh, he already said that. Yeah, he said it's the biggest payday he's had to fight anybody, and it's not even
like,
a fight.
I mean, no, we would never have interviewed Ben Askren a month ago, no offense, but like that's just
Hey, that's a Wisconsin boy. We would have interviewed him, we would have got there. You just relax, all right?
I'm actually super curious, him and LeBron. Like, and I just mean like a street fight, like they can wrestle. Like if he can wrestle, like, or is LeBron just too big to win, like beat in wrestling?
I couldn't put up with another minute of that conversation, dude.
About the chance of Ben Askren beating LeBron James.
The fact that you guys were even thinking about like, oh well, is there a?
No, that's the.
I think Askren could beat him in a regular fight.
You are crazy. LeBron James,
dude, he's the best, one of the best wrestlers ever. Like he could just get him in a choke.
Yeah, I think if we're talking like mixed martial arts,
you can just get LeBron in a choke.
Realistically, this is what happens. He hits him in the private area, gets him on his knees, and chokes him out. Yes, I think that's what happens. I want LeBron to win.
You see where that get to you. Yeah, I don't know. That was great though.
That was cool.
Great.
How are you doing? How's the season going now? You guys lost one game, but then won another game.
Yeah, we lost to Florida. Lives here.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Liv?
Hi.
Ben or Jake Paul?
Ben.
Ben Askren.
I was gonna say that before you even said it. I hope Jake Paul gets his ass beat.
You just don't like him.
No, I just think that.
Wait, Liv, would you ever fight?
Yeah. I feel like I'd be really good.
I also agree.
I
I feel
Jordan
like there's something.
before. I fought Jordan. I won.
We're not going to talk about that fight.
Are we
Anyways,
getting Liv versus Megan?
No, Megan would die.
Oh, overtime Megan versus Liv. I'm gonna put like probably the house I don't have on Liv.
I'm trying to think who I would want Liv to fight.
I'll fight.
Amelia is probably the top of the list.
5'5".
I'm literally Jordan size.
She's like 5'11". So let's.
Liv versus Dixie. Liv versus Dixie. I want to see that. Dixie D'Amelio.
Ew.
Is she tall?
I'd beat her ass. Are you kidding? She seems so soft.
Oh,
I
God.
agree.
You got Liv
They-
all
they-
locked up.
Her
Look
and
at- look at-
Addison
She weighs
fought.
like half my size. She's like half my size. You
Liv's-
can just tell I'd beat her ass by my black hoodie.
Liv's wearing like all black right now. You guys are. She got like she's all up. All right, you got to get out of here.
I would 100%
Crack the
will.
title. I would beat
Oh.
Dixie D'Amelio's ass. That's a pretty good headline.
I would.
Anyway.
I wonder if
Tom
she'd
just
fight
said can we clip that? Clip Thompson and I would beat Dixie D'Amelio's ass. But yeah, Tom. Back to what you were saying. We lost to Florida. We then beat Iowa State on the road. But now we have a gauntlet. We have Kansas at home, Texas Tech on the road, where I'll see my boy. And then we'll have, I think it's Baylor at home. And then that same week, Baylor at their place. We have this back-to-back thing that's like never happened because of COVID. And then
Baylor's insane.
Then we play Texas and TCU on the road. Again, I'll see my boy. So it's going to be a gauntlet. Like we play 6 games and like all 6 are in the top 25.
I'm not
Did you guys know Baylor was going to be this good?
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't even.
They're awesome.
We couldn't even. They whooped our ass.
Yeah, they really did.
I mean,
When they're on, they're just
they're
I
a
don't
good team. That's a
I'm
good.
not even going to get into it.
Yeah, LaMelo's so good.
What?
Dude, hey, how do you feel that Tyrese is going to win Rookie of the Year over LaMelo Ball? Does that make you feel okay or no?
He's not going to win Rookie of the Year over LaMelo.
Yes,
Now,
he is.
if LaMelo stays in the starting lineup, LaMelo will win it.
Yeah, there's no way Tyrese, but I am a big I got a very rare Tyrese Halliburton rookie card, so I hope he's good.
We should get him on the pod.
Are
Can you do that?
you doing the whole like cards and stuff like that, Spence? Are you into all that?
I just bought one pack I bought one box hoping to get LaMelo and Tyrese, but it's like
we're all a little in it.
the card's like worth like $350 right now. So
Is it really?
with Tyrese Halliburton, I'll find it. I'll find it later and I'll send it to you.
Dude, that's crazy. Some people really do that as like a whole ass job. I mean, they're constantly like looking and trading and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. It's wild.
Can we get Tyrese on the pod?
For sure. At any time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we should. That's actually a good one. Damn, Ben Askren. Are we gonna like live stream the fight? What's our plan?
We should live stream the fight. And I think check, but I'm pretty sure as a college athlete, like with gambling and stuff, I think you can place bets on. Can you hear me?
Yo, is McNeil on the internet again, dude? Your Wi-Fi is breaking up.
I cut out today too.
He's watching goddamn Outer Banks, the corniest show on Netflix.
Oh, don't talk shit about Outer Banks, man.
Dude,
I love
Don't
Outer
talk
Banks.
shit about Outer Banks.
okay, I'm sorry. I'll talk shit about Outer Banks and All American this whole time because it was
Brother.
the corniest.
All Americans awful. All Americans awful.
Hey, Sean. Sean just came out of his room and said, "You better watch your mouth." He loves the corniest shows on Netflix.
I do
Him
too.
and Liv, actually.
Wait,
That's John B.
John B, dude. John B.
I have a
John
brother,
B.
John B.
You guys honestly sound like teenage. Oh my God, John B, dude. But anyways,
Yo, we should get John B on the pod.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yo, McNeil, do you have any connections?
You have any connections to John B?
I'll be ammo.
Him and what's his girlfriend, Madeline Klein. We have both of them
in real life. You know how great season 2 is going to be? There's going to be real chemistry.
I heard Addison might be in it. I heard Addison might be on it.
Addison's making an appearance?
Might.
Addison who, Ray?
That's
I need a bad bleep. Addison, right? That one.
I mean, at this rate, Ben Askren's going to get on that show, dude. This guy's doing whatever for a minute of fame.
Hey,
I don't know.
Don't do that right now. Don't do that.
Something about sliding in my wife's DM. Like, I would be more. That's my one thing with him. Like, is he actually deep down like boiling and ready to kill him and just like putting on a fake? Like, I don't care
what you say. You don't slide in someone's wife's DM and like.
Well, that's what he's like Conor. He thinks he can talk like he thinks he can toe the line like Conor McGregor, and he can't because he's got no resume. I mean, kind of. He's got a ish resume.
I'm gonna start it right now. 3 years from now, Jordan's gonna fight Julian Newman.
I'm not fighting Julian Newman.
Oh my gosh, Jordan versus Julian Newman. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. All right, guys, close us out. You got this.
I was gonna say maybe we just don't close out. We just end it.
All right. Well, everybody, that was episode. I don't know. Are we even close to like 50 yet? We need to start cranking these out more. We've been slacking. I've been slacking. You know, NCAA basketball season will do that to you. But that was Ben Askren, and we had a great time. Stay tuned next time. I don't know. See you guys. Peace. Bye, Tom.
Jake Paul's gonna win.
All right.
Ben Askren is gonna win in 3 rounds. Knockout.
Liv's gonna fight the D'Amelios.
I'll fight anyone. Period.